Hello, it's Heather. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial showing how to create a sparkly glitter effect in YouTube's Effect Maker tool. To get started, I already have a project file opened up in YouTube's Effect Maker, and I'm just going to start editing. I'm going to add a visual effect that is called particle system to my scene. And adding glitter is actually pretty simple. It's just you have to be a bit creative. So I'm going to go to emitter shape and change the emitter shape to be a box. Currently, right now, it's a sphere, which means like for a sphere emitter, all the particles are emitting from one little dot, like the sphere. For a box emitter shape, the sparkles are emitting like from a whole square, so like little different points in the box. Ideally, for the glitter, we kind of want glitter pieces emitting across the square screen, which is why the emitter shape box works better for doing a glitter effect. I'm going to go ahead and quickly add an asset and upload just like a sparkly image. Okay, as you can see, it's just kind of like a sparkly little particle, so it has a bit of like shine and blur. So it kind of looks like a little speck of dust or a little speck of like shiny glitter. You can kind of use if you have like a specific type of glitter or shape that you'd like to use, feel free to import whatever image works for you that you want to turn into glitter. Now I'm going to go back to my particles object, and I'm going to go to the set area, and I'm going to switch it from the default particle to our new sparkle particle that I just added. And as you can see, the shape and how it looks kind of changes a bit. Now right now it doesn't look like glitter at all, so I'm going to quickly start changing a few settings. First, our particles are like appearing in the middle and then just coming out, like flying everywhere. Ideally, different types of glitter you might want to look different, but for this specific effect, I want it to be to where just little glitter pieces just appear on the screen, so it's like the screen is sparkling almost, rather than glitter like falling down from the sky or falling to the sides, like flying glitter. So to have more static sparkling glitter rather than flying glitter, I'm going to adjust the velocity and the acceleration. Basically, our initial velocity is 0, so it doesn't move, but we have our initial velocity range to be 5 on all the x, y, z axes, which basically means that the velocity controls the speed at which it moves. So the glitter sparkles, some of them may stay in the exact space they're at, and then others may start moving upwards and to the sides and down and backwards, like as you're seeing in the preview panel. I'm going to change the values to be 0, and as you can see, as I change the y value to be 0, the sparkles just stop moving upwards and downwards. They just start moving just on the x-axis, so horizontally. Now if I change the x1 too, you can see they also stop. The sparkles, if you look very closely, they still like moving, but on the z-axis, so back and forth. Now I'll change that too to be 0. And now it just looks like a giant block because we have too many particles spawning at one time, so like it looks almost like just a static square. We can make it look more like individual little glitter pieces by lessening the particles and scaling up the emitter box, the particle box that these things are emitting from. I'm going to adjust the scale of our particles thing altogether to maybe something like 3, 5, let's try 7. I think I'm actually going to try to see how it looks on my screen. Nice. So maybe let's try I'm gonna try maybe 10 for x-axis, maybe 11 for the x-axis. And then I think the y-axis, as you can see, like you see the glitter stops around like here, the particles stop in here, so that means we need to make the box's y-axis larger. So I'm going to make it, let's try 14, 16. When you're messing with particles, it's really just a matter of, ooh, 74 is a bit too big. When you're messing with particles, it's really just a matter of trial and error, seeing what looks best. Sometimes it can be just changing a value one by one and just being like, does this look a bit better? And then no, change it back, and then try experimenting and see how things alter. Okay, it's starting to look a bit like glitter. I'm going to lessen the amount of particles because I feel like my whole screen is just particles and I want it to be more like sparkly glitter. So I'm gonna try, let's see how 300 particles look. Maybe 200 particles. And a 20 bounding box for the Y. Okay, I think it's starting to kind of look like a bit of sparkly glitter. I feel like the pieces are staying on too long, so it's not very like sparkle. Like if you think about a sheet of glitter, usually like the sparkle will be like sparkle sparkle and it's like out within like a second, less than a second. So I'm going to change the particle lifetime so they don't last, because currently, because the particle lifetime is at 1 second and then the range is 1 second, some particles could last like only 0 seconds, like not even be on the screen or be barely on the screen, but other particles could last to 2 seconds. I still want it to have a bit of range, so each sparkle is a bit of like different in how long it sparkles. So maybe some sparkle like a 0.10 seconds longer than another sparkle, but I don't want it to be too much. So I'm gonna try changing the range to maybe something like 0.20 seconds. And then change the particle lifetime to be, let's try 20.10 seconds. I kind of like this. And I think it kind of depends on what type of effect you're going for. Yeah, this looks more like sparkles, because it's really just a trial and error. I think like 0.25. I like to set things at 0.25 because it's often like a quarter of a second is often like fast, but not too fast. Now it still doesn't exactly look like glitter. Glitter is often different sizes and different shapes a bit, so I think I'm going to change the particle size to be maybe a bit smaller, like size of 7. And then maybe have a range of like 3. Maybe put it as a size of 6. Okay, this is starting to look sparkly. I want the color to be more like pretty, like something different. I don't want it to be too colorful, but maybe something like a pretty pink glitter. Or purple glitter. Oh, I like the purple glitter, I think. Now if you do it too purple, it looks just like dust, which could be cool for like certain effects if you're trying to do like dark glitter or something, but it doesn't have like that glow. So I try to do it not too white, but just a light tint to give it like light purple, light color. And then the thing that really makes the difference is changing the blend mode, because right now it looks like little dots appearing on the screen, but the blend mode makes all the difference. So say we could change it to multiply and it looks more like you can barely see the dots. We could change it to subtract and it looks more like black dots. So maybe something like this could be good if you're trying to do like particles on like some type of like old VHS type of effect or something. But what I prefer is to use screen or linear dodge. Linear dodge really looks kind of like sparkles because you see it has like that glow and it doesn't look fully white, it doesn't look fully purple, it has like that shine to it. I think I'm going to change the size just a little bit more. give it more of a range. And then I kind of would like to have another type of sparkle added into it, so maybe like little heart sparkles or something. So I am actually going to go create a new sparkle. I'm just going to go to Adobe Express and probably get an element. I think I want to go with a new shape. Let's see, maybe either a heart or a star sparkle, I'm thinking. We could also try both. Ooh, I like all of these a bit. I think I'm gonna go with the star. I like to duplicate what I have in case I just want to change the icon that I chose. I'm going to change the border thickness. Maybe have it just a slight border thickness, but I don't want the border to be fully black, so it's more unique. I want the color of the particle set to be like white, or as close to white as it can. Maybe even if it's like an off-white, still be close to white, because then we can change the color in the particles very easily. If we have it as like a specific set color, then changing the color in the particles area, it won't really look good. It will, like, say if the color of our image is like a blue and then we try to change the color to red in the particles in YouTube Effect Maker, it will change it to more of a purple, because it will kind of add the color tint instead of actually changing the white to whatever color tint it is. I want it to be kind of glowy, so I think I'm going to add like a gradient to this star. I like to add gradients to a lot of stuff when I'm working in Adobe Express, because it just makes it look a bit more depth. Okay. I'm going to make it like a white, maybe like a grayish, and then like a white, like make it look like a silverish gray glow. Okay, I like this. When exporting like a set that you plan on using with particles, it's best to have the background transparent, because otherwise it will be like an image on a square particle. It will look, because your particle is, it's just little pieces, copies of that image that you're using. I'm going to go back to my YouTube Effect Maker assets area and upload this new particle we just added. Ooh, I like this. I like the star. Okay, so I'm going to keep the particles that we currently have, and then I'm going to add a new particle. So I just duplicated that same particle. I can rename it to be like star, particle star. And then I'm going to switch this one's graphic out to be the pretty little stars. We can't really see it because I think they have the same settings and they're kind of overdoing each other. So let's change some of the settings a bit to just look a bit varied, and it's not like the stars and the other sparkles are overlaying each other. So maybe increase the size a little bit. I think I'll probably maybe adjust the number of particles to be like 250. I think I'm going to go to my other particles and lessen their lifetime, decrease their size a little bit, so they're more like extra little glistenings, but not like everything, if that makes sense. And I'm going to lessen how many particles we have of like the original sparkles. So it's like their extra add-on that makes it like sparkly, but the stars are like the shining purple stars are the part of this show. Ooh, pretty. And now we can also see like it looks really pretty when we lessen the color, make the color darker. We don't want it like to be too dark, or at least I don't for this specific effect, but it does add a bit more depth when it's like in a mixed color. It makes it look more realistic and more like real glitter. I think I'm going to adjust the particles to be actually a little less. I don't want it to be overloading our effect to where that's all you see. I like the big sparkle size. 6. So our particle sizes could go up to like 12, but this is usually rare if you do see that. Then maybe these particles to be like, how many do we currently have? 150. I want 100 of the original particles. Ooh, I think I'm kind of happy with it. It looks sparkly. Let's try it on some of our other models. Nice. And just keep adjusting the particles till I'm happy with it. I like to mess around with them a lot before I usually am satisfied. If you want it to be like extreme sparkles, then it's best to have more particles. If you want it to be just a light addition, then less particles are great. So yeah, that's pretty much how we make sparkly glitter effect. Now for the rest of this video, I'm going to be adding on to make it an effect that I plan to actually publish. I'm going to just add a bit of a color filter. I feel like you can't really do effect without a color filter. Like whether it's something to brighten up your camera, or if it's something to like make it look more dull. I don't know. Even if it's just a 5 or 10% on a color filter, I feel like that's just a must-have. Just adding a few overlays. I'm going to add a 3D paint face, just a 3D face, because I think I want to make the face look a little sparklier, not really sparkly, but just shiny. Just adding on extra pieces. And this is the final effect. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like these. Thank you for watching!